Good afternoon, Cherry Blossom family. This is Derek back with Friday with Friends, and today is a great episode. I think we're very excited about it. We are talking to Stefana Pecher, MD. She is a family practitioner in New Stonington, Connecticut. Her name of her practice is the Country Wellness Center, where they're doing some pretty amazing things and taking a rather progressive approach to modern medicine. So I cannot do your story justice as much as I would. We talked a little bit yesterday. Please, first of all, welcome. And just to give us a little bit of background about yourself, I know you have quite the story to tell. You're a very layered individual. So let's tell us a little about yourself and your practice.
Certainly. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Thank you for being here.
Yes. So, I was trained in medicine, traditional medicine in Europe, in the Czech Republic.
Okay.
My family originally comes from there, and all of the ladies in the family were either doctors, dentists, and if you go far back enough, herbalists on all sides. So we have quite a strong, so it was never a question in my mind what I would be doing with my life. I knew it right away as a kid. And so that made things easy. Then I just had to learn to sit on my ass and study. That's all I had to do. So
straight from your mother's mouth, right?
But so life was very interesting. I spent 8 years there in Prague. It was beautiful, and I relocated to the University of Pittsburgh in 01. If you can imagine, it was an ultimate reset button. Wow. It was a gigantic snowstorm. I remember it. Wow. I was almost stranded in Boston airport, but I made it through. I pushed it through, and I was going to get there. And so I did some prostate cancer research. I published a whole bunch of articles and ended up moving to Philadelphia, Bryn Mawr, where I completed my family medicine residency, and I had my 3 kids. Okay. So that was kind of the beginning. And as time went on, my husband at the time, he matched into a cardiothoracic surgery fellowship at Yale. And so we had to relocate again, this time to Connecticut. So my journey kind of took me up to the Rhode Island border. There's a hospital here in Rhode Island, but it had some offices in Connecticut, and they gave me an offer I couldn't refuse. And so I've been here for 12 years. About 8 years ago, I established my own practice, private practice, sole owner. And thank you. That wasn't easy, all that paperwork. Sure. But I found it preferable. And, we expanded our holistic modalities. We created our first wellness center.
It's not our day, is it?
You're fine. You're fine, hon.
That is pretty funny.
That's fine. We love cherry blossom. That's what we planted. Yeah. But as time went on, so we opened the second wellness center. Most recently, we added all kinds of services, holistic services like hyperbaric oxygen chamber, infrared sauna, floating salt pod, halo therapy, along with Reiki, medical massage, things like this, personal training. And so we've been supporting the community for many years as a holistic physician. So it's sort of, the patients are more than patients, they're family. So one of these patients, longtime patients, kept telling me for many years, "Hey doc, when I retire, I'm going to sell you my farm." And it's literally across from my office.
Oh my goodness.
Literally. And so it happened. 2 years ago, it happened. And suddenly I had this 33-acre farm with hiking trails and fishing in the back and just a beautiful playground. And I sat down with some close friends and said, what should we do with this? Because it is such a magical place. We really should do something for the community with this. And so we decided to create a nonprofit, Better Together, CT Inc. And that's where we reintegrate veterans through agriculture, but also fellowship and the arts.
Can you expand on that a little bit? I think your website says serving veterans in the community through fellowship, agriculture, the arts, while offering a safe and secure and healing environment. Yes, and that sounds wonderful. Like, I'm a veteran myself.
You are?
And
I didn't know that.
I am, and we didn't talk about that. Yes, so the U.S. Navy.
Did you?
So I didn't. You know, I came out. I had a good little family base around me. So, but I know a lot of people do not. A lot of people go into the military kind of alone and come out alone. And even after all the things that you may experience in there, and sometimes that walk through regular life, or that reintroduction to regular life can be very hard on people. So tell us a little bit about, not too much about that, I won't go into far into that, but tell us about how you and the Better Together Connecticut are like helping and improving the lives of people in your community.
Yes, certainly. So we noticed that early on, we have a giant veteran population here in Rhode Island and Connecticut. And so I have a lot of patients. And over the years, we've established a good, trusting, deep relationship. And I've seen some of the struggles they face, just getting access to care, and then getting access to care that works.
Right.
Because it's one thing to throw a bunch of pills at somebody, but if their problem isn't really improving, you've got a big problem now. It's going to be not just their life, but how it affects everybody else. And if they're not feeling well mentally, what implications does that have for the rest of the community? So you want to address these kind of things, if you can, early, to prevent some of the tragedies that we see happening out there in schools, et cetera, et cetera. People in general are feeling isolated. And with this COVID thing, it's been even worse.
No doubt.
So we've been doing outdoor therapy. About 2 years ago in June, we rescued 6 mini horses originally and a mini mule. And so those little guys live on the farm, and we use them for equine therapy. Nobody's riding those guys. They have a traumatic past. They were rescued from a meat market.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that was quite the story. I have to write that up. I just haven't had time.
A horse and a mule in the United States were rescued from a meat market?
Yeah, and
Wow.
where they go?
Wow.
Mostly to Japan and Montreal, I heard, where they eat that, apparently.
I think they're more comfortable eating horse in other countries. I mean, and I hear a lot of countries actually do, and they don't really look at it the same way as Americans do.
It's true. It's true. But for us, anyways, for our purpose, we went there to rescue 2. And when we saw what was going on, we took as many as we could fit.
Oh, I love it.
So it was really nice, and they've integrated, and so that's been a big help. And we are now doing a lot of outdoor therapy. Ever since the COVID thing, we've been able to actually do all of our counseling and medical visits outdoors for those people.
That's incredible. Uh-oh. There you go.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
Getting calls. So that's right. One thing.
You're right back in it. It's good.
One thing we've done, but the other thing, we also did our first hemp field 2 years ago, as soon as it became allowed in Connecticut.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, so that was all trial by fire. Everybody had different opinions. It was remarkable to me how there could be so many opinions on how to do something. It was, I couldn't believe it. So in the end, I just said, you know what, I'm just going to treat it like tomatoes and use common sense and just do what I do normally to grow things. And so we ended up with a gigantic yield in a quarter of an acre. It was just tremendous. And it went on for months, like the trimming and processing. It was all volunteers from the community.
You can see how that could get very expensive for like an operator, like trimming, the processing, and curing. Yeah.
Yes. I don't know how people do those large acreages, really.
And how many pounds did you end up getting?
So around 600 pounds.
My goodness. That is a lot of trimming and drying and curing. That is. Wow.
Yep. And, we literally used every space we had to dry. So we have this big gym in the wellness center. So we created racks. And the gym guys, the personal trainers, were like, when are you going to get this out of here? The whole place smells beautiful. And then, some local politicians had some of their events, on both sides, bipartisan, of course, here. And I just thought it was so funny because I know everyone could smell it, but nobody said a word,
So funny. Well, they are cousins, these two plants, so they're pretty indistinguishable from one another.
Yes, yes. And I'll tell you, our cherry blossom, I can recognize my plant anywhere.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
So so you grew cherry blossom, the cherry blossom strain, and you got 600 pounds. So what did you do with all this? Did you just turn this into product? Did you just sell some, like spoken with hemp?
So some people were buying it, we vacuum sealed some of it for flowers. Some patients want to make their own butter or things like that. So we had that option, and then we developed our own product line from it. And it wasn't very easy. Actually, it took like learning a whole new industry again.
Yes. We are, yes, it is learning a whole new industry.
So we did a lot of that, and eventually I put a bulk of it to be extracted for oil because I didn't want it to start to degrade.
Right.
The company that extracted, it's a veteran-owned company that we work with too here in Connecticut, and he was very impressed with the very little degradation. He said, "Really, you guys cured this perfectly."
Excellent. Look at you.
I know, learning.
We're all developing new skills. You didn't think we'd be doing anything like this in our lifetime, and here we are. You're out there curing, growing, drying hemp, and, creating products. I mean, this is really an amazing story. Where do you find time to maintain like a 30-something acre farm? I know you're not out there cutting grass and such by yourself.
Well, no, I have a lot of help. Somebody lives there and takes care of the property and the horses, so that's a big help. But I also have a lot of patients and friends and community that they come there and they kind of sit in the field in a lawn chair and read to the horses, hang out,
Wow.
help with all kinds of things. So I've been very blessed like that. Yeah.
Well, you are very blessed, and you're actually blessing your community. It sounds like the community is blessed to have you guys there. So I have a couple questions actually. The Country Wellness Center offers an array of unique therapeutic services. Some you mentioned already. One was vitamin infusion therapy. One was the halo therapy, which is also a dry salt therapy. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, interchangeable terms. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. And now I learned something today. And a hyperbaric oxygen therapy. So for those who are not familiar, tell us a little bit about those techniques and how they can help people.
Yeah, certainly. So Country Wellness Center is here in North Stonington, and we're right on the Rhode Island border. So we get a lot of patients, even from Massachusetts and beyond. So it's becoming kind of a little New England center.
Kind of a tri-state also, huh?
I guess. And so, as time went on, I realized that there were a lot of contraptions out there that Europeans have used for a long time, but we here just don't know much about it yet. So I kind of was just researching which ones would be the best for my patients, with a special focus on PTSD, traumatic brain injury, and chronic illness, because that's what we see a lot of. And what my number one pick.
Especially with veterans, I'm sure.
Yes. Yeah, and that hyperbaric oxygen chamber really is worth looking into for everybody. There is a study that just came out measuring telomere length. It was a short study, 3 months, not a very big study, maybe only 30 people, but it showed that the telomere length increased. And so we correlate that with longevity and less illness, less chronic disease, and anti-aging.
So I hear this, and I hear that I think that this is something that's only available to like celebrities and athletes and things like that. But this is pretty common across the country, that more and more people are performing these types of services.
I hope so. And hospitals have like a higher level grade of this kind of thing than we have here. Ours isn't the high pressure that would be used for divers with the bends, for example, or deep healing wounds, but it's more than adequate for our purposes. And it is something that some families have actually pooled together to buy one so they can all use it. I've heard of that too.
It's adding years to people's lives.
Literally.
Wow.
And improving sports performance. It's excellent for people who've had strokes, any kind of, brain injury, Alzheimer's. It's really quite remarkable. So I'm expecting to see a real spike in the use of this once people figure it out.
So what is the relationship? It's just like the intake of oxygen is kind of like boosting your own natural immunity, or is it
So
like
it's
countering
basically
some of the...
pumping oxygen-rich blood under pressure. It's like airplane, like being in an airplane. It's that level. Your ears pop.
Okay.
And it's forcing it into places that don't usually get it.
Oh,
So
genius.
yeah, so when you come out of there, you actually, your skin looks great. It's like yeah, it's just remarkable. So some athletes are combining it with like ice sleeves for injuries. It's
Yes.
accelerating healing.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I have to make a trip up there and just show some of this actually like on camera. I mean, get some of this recorded.
I'd love to treat you guys.
That would be great. I would love to be treated. This sounds like the best doctor visit ever. You know?
I think you'd have a great time, and it's all kind of friendly and comfortable. Like, who needs the stress, eh?
Oh, well, I think I speak for us all when we say we can all put down a little stress this year, right?
Yeah.
And you know, so
you bring up a great point, because you know what? Now they're using these for COVID.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
As like a
treating the ones who have it. Yeah, active illness and post the people with repercussions.
So you're like a little bit ahead of your time in a way.
I think this is going to, it's really a great thing, and we really should bring more attention to that.
Well, that brings to my next question. As you see, all these things that you're offering to people, the world is changing in ways, and like the way that we view some of our long-held beliefs on modern medicine and things. So do you see more like medical professionals kind of going this way? And maybe that's the second part of the question, because the first part is that, you know, to the average patient or layperson, you know, you seem to be the opposite of like a traditional family practitioner. So have you received a lot of pushback from some of your peers, like in traditional medicine, or those who are practicing in traditional like family practices or other, you know, various forms of traditional medicine? Are you getting like kind of like, what are you doing? Or, you know, you're messing up our game here kind of thing, you know, any of that?
Well, in the beginning, like 8 years ago, perhaps, some people were perplexed. And I don't think that a lot of the medical community was used to working with other kinds of holistic healers, like acupuncture, chiropractic care, naturopaths. And what I noticed is that there's a sub-segment of our patient population that no matter what we did medically, it didn't help them. And this is maybe like 20 to 30% of our patients. And
like
so
traditional techniques and traditional pharmaceuticals and things like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I started to look outside the box. Sorry, so we just had a guest walk in.
No, that's okay.
We'll take
if you gotta go, let me know.
No, it's fine. It's fine. I'm sorry, hon. So yeah, basically they weren't used to working with these other professionals. So, and they didn't know how to sort of verify who was any good. But for me, it's simple. The proof is in the pudding. If the patient is improving and you hear about it repetitively, that Dr. X helped them with whatever, then you know that that's, what can you lose?
Exactly.
You haven't been able to help them. So, and you've done everything medically you can humanly do. So why not try something like that? So the patients in our area here have always been open to this ever since I've been here. So it must be a progressive area. Maybe.
See, seems like, you know, the winds of change brought you to the right place, you know, where you kind of took you from this trail, this path from Prague to over to Pittsburgh to Philly, you know, to up to New Stonington. And I think that, you know, you were destined to be there is what it sounded like.
It certainly feels like it. You know, I can be myself.
And that's important.
And that's very important, you know. So now the doctors are coming around to this. And we have some specialists that are really supportive, especially of the medical cannabis. And because we've been doing that now for patients, I don't know, 4 years, 5 years, something like that. And, you know, for rheumatology and for autoimmune illness, medical cannabis is a miracle in many cases. It really is.
Record that and just like put it on people's phones.
Because, you know, just think, if you're a doctor, you're trying to help people. but traditional doesn't work. What do you turn to? You still want to help them, you know?
Exactly.
So,
and I think sometimes that more people are really probably more open to it than they even realize, because people just want to be healed. You know, I think half the time when you get to a certain point of pain, sickness, illness, what have you, it's like you're willing to try anything to feel like a normal human being again. You know, and luckily for us, this thing has been given to us by nature, these plants, and they're totally helping people. They're changing people's lives. They're giving people new starts, you know, and almost, like you said, in a way, adding to people's lives. And there's times where, you know, I put on my hemp tincture on my back. It's sore in the morning. You know, I'm over 40. I get sore in the morning, you know. And so, and now I feel, you know, after 15 minutes, you know, I'm feeling like, I can't say I'm feeling 10 years younger, but I'm not feeling like, you know, the old man that got out of bed this morning, you know. And so these things are really, really, really helping people. Hopefully, I don't know, maybe you can give me your opinion. Do you think that in 10 years from now, we're going to see more doctors approaching medicine in the way that you're approaching it?
I'm sure. I'm sure. And I have to say, you know, I had an unusual supporter. It was like a CEO that I knew, and he must have heard through the grapevine what I was up to, you know, 8 years ago. And he sent me this really nice email, and he just said, you know, just keep being yourself. Don't worry about what anybody else thinks. As usual, you're 10 years ahead of the curve.
That's it. Hey, it's better than 10 years behind the curve.
But
like,
you know, so it's exciting.
You're like prepared for it, because this is all about being yourself. And this is part of why we do what we do here with the Friday with Friends, to spotlight other people in a way that social media is being used, I see, mostly to spotlight ourselves, our businesses, our own mission. And I says, well, shoot, man, we could be the antithesis of that. Let's use it as a being to spotlight other people and let people tell other people's stories, you know? So, and I love the fact that you kind of said yes and opted in with us, and we're getting a chance to get out here and tell your story. I know we're kind of getting short on time, but two more things. You got to tell everybody about Hip Camp. I think it's wonderful. I'm not even going to preface it. I'm going to let her talk about it, and then we're going to get to your shameless plug. Talk about all the things you want to talk about for your business. So let's talk about Hip Camp real quick, and then go into that.
Okay, thank you. That sounds good. So hipcamp.com, a very interesting app. I was so glad back in August, and basically it's kind of like Airbnb for campers, but it's more ethical. And the campers kind of have the philosophy of leaving the place better than they found it. So they don't make a mess, they don't leave garbage. And on the contrary, these are like-minded, I call them COVID refugees from cities.
Nice.
Who went virtual and now can travel the US and, you know, live the life that they've wanted. So they're going from place to place, sometimes camping, but sometimes in RVs. And these are sometimes decked out like unbelievable. And they just travel around. And we found that a lot of these people embraced everything we were doing, and the whole thing came full circle with the holistic services, the animal therapy, and we couldn't get them out of the fields.
In a strange way, COVID is allowing all of us to like rediscover ourselves, figure out what's important to us, to find our happiness, to actually be ourselves. That's a really, really, really encouraging story. And I think that you should probably be promoting this to all over, to everybody at home. We're going to, obviously this video is going out to many people who are willing to watch it, but I think that we may be taking a trip up there this summer to check out for a week.
I would love it.
And that Hip Camp would be HIP, not HEMP, HIP camp. So.
Yep, hip like hippie.
That's it. I love it. Ah, okay, even better. That's it.
And you know what? I would love to have you on my show. My show is much smaller than your show. It's just a little show for the local SEC TV, but it's really helpful for patients. And I would love it if you guys even wanted to do some cooking. We have a commercial kitchen set up where you could use your CBD and make some treats, and we could have a live audience.
You're speaking my language. I would love to do that. Yes, I would love to do that.
So
I don't think for the general public too much anymore, but that sounds like just the avenue to do it. Yes.
Perfect.
That is awesome. Well, this is your shameless plug. Anything that you want to promote, you want to talk about, put on your social media your tags and addresses and things, or your website. This is your moment. So you tell everybody what you want to hear, and then we'll just wrap it up.
Well, thank you so much. So I don't know, maybe I could even walk over and show you my product line.
Oh, let's do it.
Okay. I could even show you the Hyperbaric.
Oh my goodness.
So
See, bonus.
This is our
you guys had no idea what you were walking into today on Cherry Blossom's channel. Oh, I love it.
So this is our product line. You can see we've got all kinds of things there, topicals.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Hi, honey. I'm sorry. Patience. Lovely patience. I'm just filming this real quick. I'll be right with you.
People don't call you beautiful if they don't like you. That's the truth.
Well, I love my patients. They're love bugs. So here is the hyperbaric oxygen chamber, and that is the halo therapy. I don't know if you can see it.
Yes.
Well, and
that's packed with salt, like it's like aligned with like the
yes.
boost. Oh my goodness.
Yes, and I'm gonna walk over here and show you the float pod room. Can you see this?
Oh my! A whole human being goes in there.
Yep, it's very
goodness.
big. I don't know if I'm doing it right, but.
Oh yeah. Oh wow. How long do you stay in there?
So 45 minutes typically, but some people have requested 2 hours. But
Really?
I think that's a little long, but some hardcore meditators might be doing that.
That is incredible. Not for the claustrophobic.
So yeah, so that's it. So we would love to sell more of our CBD products so that we can put the money back into veteran programs, because that's where everything goes. It's all through the nonprofit. So, you know, we'd love to expand what we're doing there. We're helping some Native American tribal members around here, specifically the Eastern Pequot Nation. Needs a helping hand. They have no running water or electricity on their reservation here on Lantern Hill, right behind us. So we're helping a little bit with that, some jewelry and art, and selling it here in our shop, and some other plans we have together.
Well, you're doing amazing work. You have so many things. I don't know when you have time to sleep, but I mean, so we're a medical professional. We're a hemp farmer. She's running, you know, the holistic Airbnb, a nonprofit. I mean, you're just doing amazing things. And thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to share your story with us and our audience. Whenever you're ready, we'd love to come up and be on your show. You know, we'll cook anything you like. So
we would be honored. We would be honored. And don't forget, it's not all me. There are so many people helping me and the whole community. I could not do this alone. No way.
Well, I'm glad you said that. You know, and that should be a metaphor for life, and that's how we're going to close. It is not all you. It is not all us. This is why we do the show, to show that it's really not all us. So thank you for that segue. Steph, Dr. Pecher, I don't even know what to call you.
Steph is just
Dr.
fine.
Amazing,
just call me,
you know?
just Steph will do.
Please do keep doing your amazing work. Keep healing people and taking care of your community. And you're doing the Lord's light is shining upon you, because it puts you right where you need to be. It seems like you're getting this reciprocal relationship from the people who are coming and visiting your center. It is a beautiful, beautiful story. Thank you for sharing it with us.
Well, thank you so much. And I really look forward to you coming up. So I'm going to hold you to it.
Please do. Put my feet to the fire.
Bring your team. Bring your whole team. I'm
going to bring the team and a tent, and we're going to hang out over there at Hip Camp for about a week. All right. I may not even shower.
Oh, well, we have a shower in the float pod room, so you'll be okay.
Perfect. Thank you. I'll tell you my funny camping story when I see you, but definitely not appropriate for this.
All right. We'll do it off camera.
But thank you very much. Thank you for your time today. And audience, you know where you can find us at Facebook at Cherry Blossom CBD, on Twitter, on Instagram. We're on LinkedIn, and also on our Cherry Blossom channel on YouTube. So no matter what medium you're watching this on, please like, subscribe, share. We welcome your comments. Share this with as many people as you possibly can to give Dr. Pecher and her practice as much exposure as possible. So thank you. Thank you for joining us today. Thank you, Dr. Pecher, and we will talk to Steph, and we will talk to you very, very soon.
Sounds excellent. Thank you so much.
You're
Have
welcome.
a great day.
Bye-bye.
Bye now.
Bye-bye. Oh, that's awesome.